Hey guys, you see that sign right there here at this Exxon gas station? Right now, for regular, it's $4.09 a gallon. So this has got me thinking, are motorcycles the cheapest form of transportation? I don't know. Let's talk about it. Well, as gas prices continue to skyrocket, everybody is looking for ways to save a little bit of money, commute to work, carpool, that type of thing. So let's talk about that today. Thank you guys for joining me. My name is Ty, and welcome back to the channel. Cheap transportation, cheap gas is something that all of us are looking for right now. And so that's got me thinking, are motorcycles the way to go as far as cheap transportation? Well, if you want to ride a motorcycle as far as cheap transportation goes, first of all, you've got to buy a motorcycle. So what about vehicle cost? That's going to be a big thing right from the start. What does it cost to get on a new motorcycle or a new car? How do motorcycles compare with that type of thing? So I did a little bit of research on Google, just a couple of searches, nothing too extensive. And from what I found out, I'm going by memory here, but I think I'm pretty close, is the average cost of a new car right now is right around $45,000. Now, it didn't say what type of car, what brand, what type of engine, blah, 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 all that stuff. Just an average cost of right around $45,000. So the average cost of a motorcycle, from what I read, is right around $15,000. That's a pretty big difference. Now I know, you can get a used motorcycle for much cheaper than that. I understand that, and especially if you decided to go with a different brand. I used to ride Yamahas, and Yamaha motorcycles are fantastic. I love them, and they are significantly cheaper than Harley Davidson. You can get a brand new, I don't know what you can get a brand new one for, but I think there's some that I found for right around, the 4,500 to the 6,500 range, just when I was Googling and looking at. So motorcycles are probably one of the cheaper forms if you're going in a comparison of a four-wheeled vehicle, let's say. Well, if you're going to get a motorcycle, if you're going to own a vehicle, especially if you have them financed, you've got to have insurance. At least that's the way it is in Tennessee. You don't know about everywhere else, but you got to have full coverage insurance if the car is financed or if the vehicle is financed. Now, so I'm not going to give you dollars and cents of what I pay, but just a rough figure. So I talked to my wife about it, and we were looking up some information for this video. And I'm 49 years old, almost 50. I drive a Chevy Silverado, and then I've got my motorcycles. So the cost of insurance on my motorcycles is about 50% what Winnie and I pay on our vehicle. So it's almost wham, just right down the middle. Now, I know there's a lot of factors involved when it comes to that type of thing. There's, the make, the model, there's where you live, your age, your driving history. That's going to play a big part as well when you start comparing and contrasting the numbers. But if we're talking about just a conversation of basics and averages, for me, motorcycle insurance cost is right down the middle. Let's talk about maintenance. Now, it does seem like to me, I'm sure some of you guys with more expertise on this topic can chime in and know more than I do, but it does seem to me that motorcycles require more maintenance than cars do. I mentioned I drive a Chevy Silverado, and I am telling you, man, I haven't had to do anything to that vehicle. Maybe I've changed the tires maybe once or twice. I used to work at a place up on a mountain where I was constantly driving up the mountain and down the mountain. So that really did a number on tires and brakes. But now that I'm not there anymore, I don't have that problem. But, oil changes in my Silverado right around $100 or so. Now recently on my Street Glide, my other motorcycle that I ride, I had to take it over to White Lightning Harley Davidson, and they did the 5,000 mile service on it. So we're talking about, it was right around $460, maybe $475, something along those lines. So it is much more expensive than an oil change on the truck, but I'm just, you know, trying to figure it out in my head as I'm riding along here, which one you have to do more often. It does seem like motorcycles require more maintenance. And on top of that, you know, I've had to change the tires on my Silverado once, and while it wasn't cheap, it you know, it didn't break the bank. But I will tell you this, I recently had a flat on this Sportster S, and I had to change the rear tire. That rear tire, God, this is bumpy as all get out. That rear tire on this motorcycle was $432. Now that was, you know, installed, but still $432 for one tire. I think 2 tires on my truck probably weren't that expensive. One. All right, I'm on my way home, and I stopped off at this Food City Gas and Go, or whatever it is. It's 409.2. So gas mileage is one of those things I think that we have to consider when it comes to motorcycles. Are they the cheaper form of transportation? Now on this, I think I get a full tank at 3.1 gallons, maybe 125 miles or something like that. My CVO's a little differently. I get really good gas mileage in that. And my Silverado, holy cow, man. My Silverado, I'll get something like I don't know, 14, 15 miles a gallon, something crazy like that. But if you're trying to cut cost and get the most out of your dollar when it comes to gas mileage, I don't know, motorcycles seem like the way to go. You probably get less mileage per tank. Like my Silverado, man, I can go forever. So you might get less mileage per tank, but it'd be interesting to see what the math would be broken down as far as cost per mile, or cost per 10 miles or something like that. But just from what I can see, motorcycles seem to be a little less expensive if you're trying to save on gas as well. So what is the final verdict? The final verdict is this. I don't know, but I will tell you this. I don't know if motorcycles are necessarily cheaper. I think it all depends. Yeah, that's probably the answer. Well, it depends. Depends on what motorcycle you have. Depends on what car you buy. Depends on what type of gas you use. There's so many factors. But I will say this. Riding motorcycles is most definitely a lot more fun than riding in my truck. That I will say for sure. So what do you guys think? In the comments below, I'd love to be able to hear from you. Do you think motorcycles are cheaper? What are some of the pros and cons that maybe I left out in this video? Let's talk about that. Well, thank you guys very, very much for joining me today. I certainly appreciate it. I hope you guys have an excellent day, and we'll talk to you again soon.